11th floor. Doors opening.
You actually do look like Buzz Lightyear. It's funny. You do look like, yeah.
I have seen Lightyear and I liked it. To be honest, like immediately, my only thought after the film was, I want another one. No, wait. Well, that, but also, I want to see that again. Oh, my hair is not it right now.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say something about that. You might want a hairstylist on set as well.
Can we do the right side now? And this is like a thing with me for Pixar films. I never can get my thoughts straight after one viewing. They almost always improve after the second viewing. I'm kind of worried that like my take on this film and why I would be wanting another one is like really self-centered. Because I'm like, oh yeah, there's so much stuff that I was kind of expecting from this film that wasn't in this film. And therefore, I want them to make another one so they can do the things that I wanted them to do in this. This was a movie made for me and me only, and therefore the film had to happen exactly how I expected and wanted it to. And like, it doesn't feel like a very good take. And I wasn't disappointed either. I feel as if with the second viewing, there's gonna be way less expectation, and I'll probably enjoy the movie way more because I know what's gonna happen, and therefore I can really enjoy it for what it is. And again, I think that just comes down to Pixar films. Like, they improve on second viewing, at least for me. What did you think of Lightyear, Vegard?
There were gay people in it.
But anyway, on paper, I think this is a really good film. I think it's well structured and I think it's paced really well as well, because with the way it is done and the things that happen in it, I think the movie could have so easily been a mess pacing wise, and anyone who's seen it will know why. And it's not. I think it's structured really well. It works really well. There are so many good action sequences with just action-packed, blockbuster, popcorn movie stuff. That's how the director described it. He said he wanted to make like a popcorn blockbuster. And I do think in the second and third acts particularly, it is just non-stop. I also think the characters are really likable and you get attached to the characters really quickly. Again, anyone who's seen the movie will know the film starts pulling at your heartstrings with characters they've introduced to you like 15 minutes ago. Particularly, I found Socks, the robot cat from the movie, to almost steal the show.
Oh my god, I also thought the second it was introduced, I thought, oh god, this is gonna be a nightmare.
I thought the exact same thing. When Socks introduced, I was like, this is gonna be the most annoying character ever. And there were moments early on as well when Socks just seemed to provide plot convenience. It was like, we've got this thing that we need to solve. And it's like, Socks, I have discovered the solution to this problem. But no, he really stole the show for me.
Buzz, that was utterly terrifying, and I regret having joined you.
The fact that it was never a big toy is definitely a bit like, okay.
Yeah, that is odd, isn't it?
And the other characters, which were great.
The thing is, Buzz Lightyear is an action figure based off a superhero in universe. So people have Spider-Man action figures, but people don't have Spider-Man's toy cat action figures.
He has a cat?
I don't know. No, he doesn't. It was a bad example. Also, I would argue that we don't really see enough of the toy universe to know. Like, I'm sure Socks toys exist somewhere in the Toy Story universe. It was just that Andy and Bonnie didn't specifically have one of them themselves. We're just living in like a weird alternate reality right now where we buy toys based off toys from a movie.
I think the least likable character is Buzz, though.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think an issue with Buzz is that there's so much of this character that's already been established. So when writing the character, they already had like a lot of things they kind of had to stick to with him, I guess.
And he's not likable in Toy Story. At least not the first one.
The first one's weird because it's like they put him and Woody up against each other and Woody's clearly in the wrong, but the movie wants you to root for Woody. Buzz is annoying because it's like, he thought the room was a spaceship? How is that not annoying? I very much am in the camp that the Toy Story movies are much better when Buzz and Woody are working together as a team. Except also in Toy Story 2, 3, and 4, every time they have a moment where they're like, I'm leaving you. I guess they never really get along for that long. A lot of the time in Hollywood, making a spin-off is just considered some sort of recipe for disaster. It can almost never go well because it's always going to be compared to the original. And it's pretty much, if the original was successful enough for them to need to make a reboot of it, is not going to be as good as the original. And I feel like there's never a reason that goes well. But Lightyear is so different to Toy Story that it doesn't have to even be considered in the same bracket. Like, it's not as if we're making two movies in the same universe. We are making a movie about a fictional character from another universe that is a toy in that universe. It's so far from it that it can kind of work on its own right. And all in all, this is just a proper sci-fi movie. It plays homage to a lot of sci-fi movies and feels more like a proper sci-fi movie than a Star Wars movie feels like a sci-fi movie in a lot of ways. I don't know. This may be like a really weird definitional thing that only lives rent-free in my head, but I always think Star Wars is more of a fantasy movie than a sci-fi movie, but it's considered by everyone to be a sci-fi movie. But isn't a sci-fi movie meant to be as if science is just a few hundred years ahead and therefore fictional, but could potentially be possible in the future? Whereas Star Wars is just a bunch of wizards fighting with laser sticks. I've always preferred fantasy to sci-fi quite significantly, and I've always concluded the reason I like Star Wars more than other sci-fi things is because it's not really sci-fi. And this was proper sci-fi, I thought. And if you're a big fan of sci-fi movies and have wanted to see an animated sci-fi movie, this is the movie for you. What can I say without spoiling it? This is filled to the brim with Toy Story references. For example, I think they create an intriguing, powerful, and mysterious villain in Zurg. I can't say anymore. He's there though, I can assure you of that. And then, of course, I'd say the message of the movie is very sweet. Maybe a little bit obvious, potentially a bit cliche, but I can't really get into it without spoiling the movie. So if you don't want to see spoilers, skip to the timestamp on screen right now. If you are still watching, you have been warned that there are going to be spoilers. Oh my god, Zurg is Buzz Lightyear's father? No, that's not what the movie did. They didn't even stick to the canon. It's him from the past, future.
Think again, Buzz.
So what does the line in Toy Story 2 mean then? Does Buzz not know his own story? Lightyear wasn't what I expected, I think, is that's the title of the video.
Ooh, I was looking at the title.
Unless I change it. Because I was expecting to see like a bunch of space rangers fighting crime together across the galaxy and, you know, just a really cool space cop movie. You know, the Star Wars movie we never got that should have been in the prequels. Instead of a Star Wars-like movie, we got a interstellar, proper sci-fi story. And I mean, I'm a fan of Interstellar as well. I love the concept of actual physics, and if you travel close to the speed of light, time starts getting all funny out there and everyone around you is going to get old and you're going to be like lost in time. I think the concept of a character being lost in time is really interesting, and it's something that explored a lot throughout fiction. I thought everything about the movie, the concept and everything, was so cool, but it just wasn't exactly what I was expecting, which I guess has maybe let me down a little bit. And I kind of hate that I'm saying that, because I feel like, again, I'm going to watch this movie in a couple weeks' time and I'm like, this was so good. And I do think it was so good. It just wasn't right now what I was expecting the movie to be, and therefore I keep thinking of what it could have been, because the whole movie takes place on this one planet. There's this galaxy of planets. There's Star Command, which is this Jedi Republic equivalent thing of space government place that fights crime. And I think at multiple points in the movie I was kind of waiting for Buzz to work out the light speed thing and finally solved the issue. I was waiting for him to come back and them to all be like, oh, he did it actually, and then them leave that planet and go do some actual space. And they never left the planet. They stayed on the planet the entire movie. And it's kind of weird because it's almost a more Pixar-y movie than I was expecting, in the sense that the story was very simple and the message was kind of learn to accept imperfect circumstances. I think that's an appropriate message, especially in the times we've lived in over the last couple of years.
Okay, no, I'm just like, I feel like I sound so like negative about this movie, but the whole you should trust someone to help you and accept that even though people might seem like amateurs on the outside, they have good qualities and they're cool and good.
I do agree with you that some of the overconfident, cocky main character learning to put his faith in the plucky underdog that is kind of useless and he doesn't really trust was a bit cliche, but I think the main message of the movie was a nice message, and it was a very Pixar-y message. And as I said, the movie felt a bit more simple than I was expecting. I was expecting like a Star Wars-sized movie, which wouldn't have been a very Pixar thing to do. Pixar don't make those big, insane movies. Their whole thing is they make movies about the little guy, quite literally. Bugs, toys, fish, you name it. I don't know. They're more, let's tell the smaller story. Also, with it being a Pixar movie, ironically, I wasn't expecting this movie to be sad. I thought, Pixar are past doing the sad things now. This movie's just gonna be a action-packed space movie, which it was, but that start, it was reminiscent of Up, that opening, of kind of like flashing through someone's life and then killing them off. It was really clever how they did it, of him coming back 4 years at a time and seeing absolute flashes of their life, and how, again, she had accepted the imperfect circumstances, Hawthorne, and just lived her life out on this new planet that she had to accept as her home, whereas Buzz was just unable to accept it. And I think there's a tragic element of him having to, basically, he was the reason they all got stuck on this planet. His mistake led to them all being stuck on this planet, and his constant failure to be able to resolve the issue meant they were getting stuck on this planet for 4 years longer at all time. So he basically had a lifetime of guilt despite only living the equivalent of about a few weeks across the movie. I think that's a tragic and kind of beautiful concept. He was the villain in the story, essentially. Quite literally with the other Buzz. But yeah, genuinely, that opening to the movie is, I think, the saddest Pixar moment since probably Onward for me.
They really said you can have gay people, but not for long.
It's literally like, why has this movie been banned in 14 countries? They killed the gay characters off. I thought that's what they... Also, on that topic of all this complex storytelling, I did not expect there to be this much time travel in a Pixar movie. Zurg being this future version of Buzz that's old and wants to erase his huge mistake from the past is quite an interesting concept, and I'm like a Zurg stan. I feel like this is well-known information. Zurg is one of my favorite characters in all of media, and I don't know if it's just because there's so little of him that so much of it is just up for my imagination. I'm like, yes, I can imagine this to be the most insane character ever. So Zurg in this film was going to be a big thing for me, and I do think they did it really well. When they did reveal it, it looked like Buzz as well. I was like, oh, have they actually done it? Is this his dad? And my brain was going like a million miles an hour trying to work out how are they going to rationalize, for one, his dad's still being alive because he's traveled like 100 years throughout time now, Buzz, but also how this, why he wants to kill Buzz. Because there's also the moment where he sees Buzz Lightyear's name on the spaceship and his fist clenches. And when that happened, I was like, oh, they might actually be doing this might actually be his dad. Zurg's a weird one because for me, again, this was the character I was anticipating the most, but I also think part of the beauty of Zurg's character, specifically in Toy Story, is that it's left up for the imagination. And after seeing the movie, I'm not looking at Zurg and like, oh yeah, that was my favorite character from the movie. But I feel like all of this boils down to the one main question that I want to talk about in this video. Was this movie held back by the fact it was a Toy Story spin-off? I mean, just generally, a good percentage of the lines from this movie are quite literally Toy Story quotes. Not even to the point of it's the buttons that say the lines when you press them. That's kind of, oh, was I? No, I was pressing the wrong side. Also, I kind of get it if it's the buttons that Buzz presses and they're like actual lines from the movie in universe. But there were also just, he said lines that Buzz the toy says at times, and it's kind of like, so was Buzz the toy unintentionally referencing the movie character without...
You're mocking me, aren't you?
Yeah, but in a supportive way.
That's just an actual Buzz quote from Toy Story.
You're mocking me, aren't you?
But then I guess that could also be boiled down to, at that stage in Toy Story, Buzz believed he was a space ranger. So he was
Not
saying
even the
same
director.
thing. I mean, there's also in this movie a host of references to Buzz Lightyear of Star Command, which I still think could remain canon to the universe following this movie, because this could just all take place after Buzz Lightyear of Star Command. I mean, he doesn't reference like Booster and Mira and stuff, but Buzz Lightyear of Star Command is just the secret prequel TV show to the Lightyear movie.
Zurg fights Buzz in the Star Command show in the original one. How does that make sense with him getting introduced to him for the first time?
You're right, no, they can't be canon. But then there are actual references to Buzz Lightyear Star Command in the movie. For example, Buzz always talking to his mission log and being made fun of because no one actually listens to the mission log.
Just doing the mission log.
You do know no one ever listens to those.
I know that.
In the Buzz Lightyear of Star Command show, Buzz is really rule-orientated and always doing things by the book and gets made fun of about that.
Come on, buddy. Nobody ever reads those reports.
You know what I also just realized? They really just said, let's have him just call Star Command all the time.
No, he's making a log though.
But like, I know, but let's just have him do that all the time so we can cover up the fact that we're not with Star Command.
Because again, they've written themselves in a corner with it being Toy Story. Because it's like, what does Buzz Lightyear do?
Buzz Lightyear mission log start date 4072.
He also meets an older version of himself in Buzz Lightyear Star Command, which again happens in the movie, but in the movie it's like an evil version of himself. But then again, there's also an evil version of him. There's like a lot of references, I feel, or at least parallels to Buzz Lightyear Star Command to the Lightyear movie. I thought going in they were going to try and distance themselves from Toy Story more and really try and do their own thing, because now the problem that they're going to receive with every review of this movie is going to be compared to Toy Story. And I've looked at reviews of this movie on Rotten Tomatoes where it's kind of doing okay-ish, not that great for a Pixar movie. I mean, it's still a successful film outright, but it's not like Pixar's exceptional over 90% club. And pretty much every review references Toy Story in there at some point. It just makes me wonder, would the movie be better if the main character had just been some random, like a new character, completely new character, and not Buzz Lightyear? Like if they'd just made a completely new movie, a sci-fi movie taking place on this planet about some random space ranger that wasn't Buzz Lightyear. And I think I might have given this like an entire whole point more in terms of a ranking had that been the case, which is insane to think. Like, I would probably be raving about this movie. Like, yo, they made a time travel physics-focused sci-fi Pixar movie. Everyone needs to see this. But for some reason, the fact that Buzz Lightyear was the focus of this movie made me like it less. I don't know. Maybe it's also that I've only seen this movie once. I don't want to be negative. I don't want to be... the only other Pixar movie I've reviewed after only seeing it once is Luca. And everyone in the comments convinced themselves that I hate that movie because I was slightly annoyed at Disney for throwing that movie straight on Disney+. And I never hated Luca. I've always liked Luca as a film. I still do like Luca. I've praised it a lot in videos since then. I just can't help wondering when they were writing the script, were they in a corner of just like, oh, we got to reference Toy Story here and have almost a checklist of stuff they had to put in there? Because they had Buzz Lightyear. We know so much about his character already because there's so much established in the Toy Story universe that they didn't really have the freedom to experiment and create a character that they actually wanted to make in this movie. Even in the Toy Story canon, there are so many things from the Buzz Lightyear Zurg story that just aren't even mentioned in this movie. Like the Zurg Death Star that's referenced in Toy Story. He's got a weapon that can destroy an entire planet. Where was that? There was nothing even remotely like that in his arsenal.
Oh, you know what I did think of the whole time though? Was, now is this good enough for him to be this invested in this character and want a toy of him? And I thought, yeah, fair enough.
I was watching this movie, and this is maybe my downfall. I watched this movie as a Toy Story fan, But what I should have been doing is I should have been watching this movie as Andy, if you get me. You know?
Yeah, that's what I was doing. Also, animation was way ahead of its time with this movie.
We've covered this. This wasn't animation. This was because the movie is animated, so it's real to them.
Also, they did a time-lapse shot. You know what the first thought I had was? Did they animate this in real motion and then time-lapse it? Or did they time-lapse animate it?
I think they time-lapse animated it. But yeah, I think this movie, it was ultimately impossible for it to ever live up to Toy Story. And I think that's always going to be its biggest downfall, that everyone's going to compare it to Toy Story, and it's so different to Toy Story. There's probably someone out there that was thinking, this is way better than Toy Story because the Toy Story movies never landed for them, but I'm not that person.
I did like the way they introduced the features of the newest suit, which was shown at the end. Like,
yes.
It was very much. I remember when the laser was on at the end. I immediately thought of the shot when they zoomed in at the laser falling off, and he was like, "That's something that needs to be attached to the suit."
Yeah.
But it was not said. It was kind of just.
And the wings as well.
The wings, when he was ejected out. I turned to Seamus in that moment, and he was just mouth open, like, this is...
He did the wing thing, he can fly! Not a flying toy. And again, it just made me want more, because there's so much stuff that they could have done that they didn't do. Why don't you just make a Lightyear 2 where they actually get off the planet and go to Star Command? But I guess Buzz learned enough from the movie that he didn't want to go back to Star Command and be a space cop anymore. Also, it's revealed that Zurg's name, he isn't even an evil emperor in this.
Because he's Buzz.
But he's the evil Emperor Zurg. But no one ever calls him the evil Emperor Zurg. So when does his name get, like, how is that on all his branding?
And who was Zurg before Zurg?
Yeah, that's the sequel. Boom! We've just written your sequel for you. You reveal that Zurg, the original Zurg costume owner, was none other than Buzz's dad and was an evil emperor. Right? Yeah.
Who started the time traveling before they even knew about time traveling?
Exactly! Lightyear 2, the script writes itself. And also, I haven't even got into this,
Calling Buzz Lightyear. Come in, Buzz Lightyear.
No time to explain. Attack!
We made it. We're at the National Space Center. And the National Space Center, that's just a van. This is how the video is going to end, unfortunately. We're at I don't know where we are actually. We're at a space station in space, you know? No. You see, so I see a guy that thinks he's got a better suit than me.
That is lame. His effort was too much, whereas you just showed... You're like one of those people that goes to Oktoberfest with the plastic suit.
Yeah, exactly. So Space Ranger Training Academy Challenge 1 is navigating the Space Center. So basically I think the challenge is to see if you can walk around the Space Center without getting lost.
Okay.
Maybe.
Where are we?
I don't know. So this is... Also, I don't know. I know nothing about space.
It says here,
There's a section over here about you.
Welcome to the educational video. Is this like a Tom Scott video? This is the Columbus Station, and it can never fail for one specific reason. I don't know what the reason is. So this is a thing of, would you suffer from space sickness? And I personally don't think this looks challenging at all.
Oh, it's awful. It's awful.
It looks so funny from the outside because it looks like nothing.
It looks like nothing. Here we go. I didn't realize there was a glass. Okay. Oh, it does feel a bit dizzy, actually. Yeah. Oh my god. Why is this? Oh my god. Yeah, my bearings are gone.
Your feet are.
I'm like what?
Disinfection kit.
Yeah, immediately.
You were in a video a month ago.
I did this. That was my starring role.
That was your starring role. He did the thing. Okay, Space Ranger Training Academy Challenge 2. Astronaut Endurance Test. Now this one, I think, is going to be more of a challenge. Okay, let's go. So, I can't really see anything. I can see you there. And I'm going to try and do this challenge.
You're walking so slowly.
Faster.
Go faster. There we go.
Yeah, good job, good job. Oh, you killed a child.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Oh!
Far off.
Is that a RuneScape dance? Maybe it would have.
Oh, that was close. Next mission.
Yes, next mission. Okay, so we've got an intergalactic escape mission now. So I guess some extraterrestrial life is out and about, and some of us have got to go crushing heads.
Where did you get that?
I don't know, someone escaped, an intergalactic thing.
I think it's us escaping.
Yeah,
No.
crushing heads. Okay, I don't know what's happening, but something is happening. So I'm really disappointed to see that the sandwiches provided at the Lightyear event have bread on the outside rather than meat on the outside. What's that about? It's not even canon. So in conclusion,
Wait.
what did you guys think of Lightyear? Let me know in the comments down below. I hope you enjoyed this video. I want to let you know it was 32 degrees Celsius right now, and I have got 2 spacesuits on at once. So yeah, I did it. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, watch another video, and check out my Patreon in the description down below. And I will see you guys next time Pixar release a film called Lightyear 2. I'm not going to upload until Lightyear 2.